Yeah.
Tank is one of the most interesting fighters to watch because he's so different. His style is so different. You know, he's so economical. Like, he puts pressure on guys without throwing too many punches, and then starts to figure holes out. And the way he can explode and move in with one shot, my God.
Yeah, he very explosive. He's very explosive, and you know, man, he be cracking them dudes. Hey, he be putting them to sleep.
Just cracking people.
Don't dub it on, yo. I'm not paying. Challenge. Well, you get this one, man.
Ain't no jumping out now. When Joe Rogan caught sight of Gervonta Tank Davis looking noticeably bigger ahead of the Jake Paul matchup, his reaction was classic Rogan. You could practically hear his voice shift into that familiar mode, equal parts impressed and analytical, like a scientist watching an experiment take shape in real time.
I'm a giant Gervonta fan. I think that guy's so unusual.
Yeah.
His style's so unusual, and it's like patience.
Yes.
Yeah. But he finds these openings and he sees them, but he doesn't go after them right away. He waits for the right time. He's so patient.
Right.
Like, when you watch the early rounds of his fights, he's like at a world champions that are competing today at the highest level. He probably has the lowest punch count in the early rounds.
Yeah.
Because he just wait, but he also knows he's got that nuclear option that if he can crack you, most likely he's going to take you out. He's got massive confidence in that.
On the podcast, Rogan didn't bother easing into it. The moment he pulled up Tank's new training footage, he reacted instantly, saying Davis looked like he'd been built inside a strength lab. And honestly, it wasn't an exaggeration. His upper body looks denser, the shoulders sit higher and wider, and his whole frame looks more compact and powerful than it did before the Ryan Garcia fight. Rogan broke it down in his usual analytical way, explaining that the added size doesn't necessarily mean slower movement. In fact, he suggested it could amplify Tank's explosiveness, boosting both his punch speed and the rotational power coming from his hips, instead of taking anything away.
It's interesting, right? Like, you don't know whether someone's ever going to be able to figure that out, or whether or not he's just going to keep cracking people.
Yeah.
You know, so it's part of the fun of watching it. I've talked to a lot of like real boxing purists. It's like, you can't rely on that style.
Right.
He's got to be busier. When he gets to the best guys, it's not going to work out. Like, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see, because there's so many good guys.
The moment Rogan really locked in was when he started comparing Tank to a compact version of Mike Tyson, powered by modern sports science. He said Davis looks like a fighter engineered to explode, not just outscore opponents. Then Joe took a lighthearted shot at Jake Paul, joking that if Jake thinks this version of Tank is showing up to win rounds, he's completely mistaken, because this Tank is clearly hunting an early finish. You could hear the respect in Rogan's voice. He loves watching fighters level up, especially when it's done with intention and discipline. And that's exactly what this version of Gervonta Davis looks like. A deliberate transformation. Not some cosmetic change, but a reinvention aimed at making a statement. Rogan wrapped it up by making it clear, this isn't an upgrade or a remix. This is the full, unlocked version of Tank Davis.
You know, he got the skills, the power, he got that ring IQ to do good, but we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, he's also wild. He's a wild fella, so he's fun to watch. You know, he's just a crazy dude. You know?
Yeah, coming from Baltimore, man, I think that's just his upbringing as well. You know, product of his own environment.
Yes, for sure. He's just so unique in his approach. Like, you know, he doesn't fight like anybody else.
After Rogan finished geeking out over Tank's new build and comparing him to a compact Tyson, the conversation shifted to Wade Plemons' breakdown. And that's where things got serious. This wasn't just about looking strong. It was about planning. You can see this camp is different. Calvin Ford isn't just coaching, he's studying. Every move Jake Paul makes, every habit, every opening is being noted. This isn't show training. This is preparation. Tank looks locked in, working angles, sharpening timing, and drilling control. Nothing feels random. Nothing feels rushed. The goal is simple. Walk in with a plan, apply pressure, and take over the fight when it matters most.
least serious you take Jake, and I've said this about everybody that's fought him, the ones that don't take him serious, the ones that say he's a YouTuber and everything else, they end up losing, or they end up looking like, oh, wait a second, this guy was a little better than I thought. They end up either getting taken by surprise or actually sometimes losing because they don't realize that Jake actually takes it serious. So this is good to hear. Just already right off the rip, they were already doing something.
Surprise. So tell me, when did you hear about this?
They've been going back and forth for years. Tank and Jake, they've been going at it for years, and it would have happened sooner, you know what I'm saying? But we have hiccups in life.
And listen, when I say Tank is going to the body nonstop, I'm not talking about just wearing Jake down. I'm talking about breaking his base, slowing his legs, making every step feel heavy. That kind of work changes fights, and this is where it gets real. Watching the footage, you can tell Tank isn't just stronger or faster. He's thinking. Calvin Ford isn't letting him waste punches or chase knockouts. This is strategy, that it's all about making a bigger man pay for believing reach equals control, cutting space, touching the body, and turning size into a disadvantage. That's not chaos. That's a plan.
Be a guy that's targeting the body, and it's the best thing that Tank could do for this fight. I mean, trying to go headshot for headshot with Jake Paul when he's probably Jake's 7 inches taller than he is. I'm assuming he's going to have a bit of a reach, even though Tank has a kind of freakish reach for his height. I don't think that's a great idea. And again, you're at eye level with Jake's belly button damn near. So you're going to have to be able to land shots right there on the waistline. And it's probably the best idea if you actually want to knock Jake out in this fight, if you actually want a game plan, because again, it's an exhibition, but if you want a game plan to get him out of there, you have to attack.
I can already picture it. Tank ripping short shots into the body, forcing Jake's guard to sink. And suddenly the later rounds start looking real uncomfortable. And you know how this goes. One clean connection from Tank doesn't just hurt. It changes the entire story of the fight. That's the part people are missing. Everyone keeps calling this an exhibition, a circus, a sideshow. But the footage says otherwise. Tank is moving like this is a title defense, not a content drop. When Calvin Ford is in the corner, every detail matters. Pressure becomes a weapon. Fear becomes leverage. This isn't Tank performing for the cameras. This is Tank building a takeover. And if Jake has gaps, Tank is already measuring where to break them.
Ridiculously hard for Tank to actually knock Jake out. I'm just, that's like 70-pound difference, 60-pound difference. That means something. And Jake's not some guy that's never thrown punches. He's a relative novice when it comes to, skill level that Tank has, but still, he knows how to protect himself. And again, his body structure allows for some mistakes to happen that he wouldn't have to pay for like he would if he was 135 pounds. Point being, I would be impressed, if Tank knocked him out cold or dropped him with something, hurt him.
It would be extremely difficult for Tank to actually put Jake away. We're talking about a massive size gap, roughly 60 to 70 pounds. And that matters no matter how skilled you are. Jake isn't clueless in the ring. He may not have Tank's level of refinement, but he understands defense well enough to survive exchanges. His bigger frame also gives him room for error, mistakes that would be costly at a lighter weight, but aren't as punishing at his size. So honestly, if Tank managed to drop him clean or seriously hurt him, that would be genuinely impressive.
It's not good. It's not good for the sport. A lot of people say, oh, money this and money that, but you got to do business the right way. You know what I'm saying? You got guys on that other side, especially fighters, that take time out of their life, train, get their coaches and sparring partners. They go different places, travel. They invest a lot of times in their career, and it's a lot. So, when they get back, they get news like that, it does not receive well. So, but we solid. We're going to stand 10 toes down, man, and we're going to see what's next for us.
Just when Calvin Ford's bluntness seemed like the peak of honesty, Lamont Roach Sr. stepped in and shifted the conversation to pure business pressure. He didn't throw insults. He threw accusations about decisions. According to him, Tank avoided a rematch and instead chased a streaming deal, choosing exposure over tradition. And honestly, it's hard not to see why people feel that way. This matchup with Jake Paul feels like boxing veering into internet culture territory. Try explaining it to a longtime fan. One of the sport's elite champions is now scheduled to face a guy who built his name pulling pranks in shopping malls.
Tank is just so much more better than Jake Paul. And some people feel, well, Jake Paul is this big heavyweight that punches hard, and Tank's gonna find out, you know. I mean, do you feel like this is going to be an actual real fight just underneath the term exhibition? And do you see the fight playing out when someone gets hurt?
I don't even want to talk on that fight, be honest. I can care less about what it is. It's an exhibition, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing. He ducked that work.
Yeah.
He ducked that work.
The wild part is how blunt Roach was about it. He basically said you can't rewrite the rules, grab the cash, and disappear without consequences. And I'm thinking someone should forward that message to half of entertainment culture and every influencer who suddenly decided boxing is a business model. Still, his argument lands. If Tank really passed on a rematch to fight Jake Paul, that's like walking away from a championship series to join a celebrity game. The money's nice, but your reputation definitely notices. And look, Jake can throw hands, no doubt. But Tank is built like controlled destruction in human form. This isn't about views or viral moments. This is about survival in the ring. If Jake shows up thinking it's another crossover event, he's going to find out fast that Tank isn't here for collaborations. He's here to make statements.
To get that rematch fight versus Gervonta after this fight?
Who knows? He said he's retiring. I believe him. Honestly, I think he's scared. So if he's going to retire, I believe he's going to retire.
You think he'll retire after the exhibition match?
I think so.
Why do you say that?
Because we get scared.
Right after Lamont Roach Sr. dropped the business heat on Tank, his son Lamont Roach Jr. showed up and shredded the whole situation like someone who's done holding back. He didn't sugarcoat it. Tank didn't just skip the rematch. He rolled straight into the Jake Paul spectacle like it was a music festival. And Roach called it exactly what it looked like, deadpan for effect. Think about it. You grind your whole career chasing titles. And the guy who beat you opts for an influencer showdown, where the biggest debate is glove color. You can feel Roach's irritation.
Upon the Gervonta fight, the ounces on the gloves, 12 ounce, and then, you know, Calvin was asking him to get the 10s. What do you think about that? And people who don't understand that.
I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about their fight per se. Like, I really don't care. I don't care about their fight.
And look, I get it. The Jake Paul fights are dripping dollar signs like a Vegas jackpot. But legacy doesn't live on TikTok highlights. If Tank really bails after this one, it's like a superhero quitting mid-series because the merch sold out. Jake Paul brings 200 pounds of content chaos, and Tank's basically a guided missile in gloves. That matchup? Either it ends faster than a main event intro, or it turns into the slickest marketing play since Logan squared off with a weather app. Either way, boxing just hopped from HBO drama straight into a YouTube reality saga. But let's be honest, we're all tuning in. Because when Tank Davis faces Jake Paul, viral, brutal, and insanely expensive chaos is guaranteed.
Jake Paul is good enough where people say, oh, he's terrible. Jake Paul is not a world-class fighter. I don't care how a person feel about that. Fighters that started in their formative years, like we did, 8, 9, 10, we got too much time in. Jake will never catch up to that. He'll never catch up to that. We just got too much time.
Here's the wild part, man. This fight is basically a social experiment dressed up as a main event. You've got Jake Paul, the internet's chaos mascot, stepping into the ring with Gervonta, a guy forged in Baltimore's boxing trenches. It's influencer culture colliding with pure fighter mentality. Algorithm versus artistry. And the insane thing? Both need each other right now. Jake's chasing legitimacy. Tank's chasing legacy beyond the usual boxing bubble. Two worlds smashing together to see who bends first. But here's my hot take. If Tank lands clean, that's more than a knockout. That's a cultural reboot. Boxing reclaiming the internet. But if Jake somehow survives, even drags Tank into the deep rounds, oh man, we could be witnessing the birth of the most hated, most improbable success story in combat sports history. Either way, this isn't just a fight. It's a battle for who controls the spotlight next. There it is. One's chasing greatness, the other's chasing validation, and both are risking everything that makes them who they are. When those gloves touch, it won't just be a fight, it'll be boxing's ultimate reality check. Does authenticity still beat algorithm? Either Tank's about to show the internet what real power looks like, or Jake's about to pull the wildest plot twist since McGregor, Mayweather. So what's your take? Is Tank dropping Jake faster than Wi-Fi in a hotel lobby? Or is Jake really built to survive Baltimore smoke? Drop your thoughts below. Debate it, roast it, defend it. I want to hear it all. And yo, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters, the home of real talk, wild takes, and zero filters. Catch you in the next one.